Hello to all visitors and residents of my channel and watercolor lovers. In this video I paint Venice in monochrome with ultramarine paint. In this way I show you my palette of colors and tell the story of each color that I use in my paintings. But first of all I want to thank all the new subscribers. Lately you have been so active in joining my channel. It makes me very happy, inspires me, and I really appreciate. Well, let me start tell you about a beautiful and almost irrepressible color, ultramarine. By the way, from the story about this color you will understand why I choose Venice for the plot. So stay with me, I'm sure you will find it interesting and informative. In April 1630, the Buddhist monk Xuanzang, on his way to India, divided from his road by 1,000 miles to travel through Afghanistan to see two huge statues of Buddha carved into a mountainside in the Bamiyan Valley. The latter statue, 53 meters from heel to crown, was painted with carmine. The smaller and the older ones are dressed in the colors of region's most famous commodity, ultramarine. Unfortunately, in March 2001, the Taliban government declared the Bamiyan statues to be idols. They were covered with dynamite and blown up. Although it is now a remote area, the valley of the Bamiyan Buddhas was once the most populated and important trade road in human history. On the Silk Road, caravans transport goods between east and west. Ultramarine first came to the Silk Road in the form of lamps of lapis lazuli. After the mineral ended up on the Mediterranean coast, it was loaded onto ships bound for Venice, and from there it was traded throughout Europe. Even the word ultramarine itself comes from the Latin ultra, beyond, and mare, sea. The history of this blue color begins deep underground. Lapis lazuli, blue stone in Latin, is currently mined in a number of countries, including China and Chile, but the vast majority of the stones, which are a deep color of the night, came from one particular source. This is the serene deposit, which lies in the foothills of the Afghan mountains about 400 miles northeast of the Bamiyan Valley. Everyone knew about the mine as well as the Bamiyan Buddhas. Marco Polo, who visited them in 1271, wrote about a high mountain from which the best and most beautiful lapis lazuli is extracted. Although lapis lazuli is considered a semi-precious stone, it is actually a mixture of minerals. Lapis lazuli is responsible for its deep blue color, but the streaks of white and gold are provided by silicates and fool's gold. Nuggets of this stone were used for decoration in ancient Egypt and Sumer. However, it seems that they began to make pigment from it much later. The point is not only that the mineral was difficult to grind. On top of that, it contains so many impurities that the result could be an oily grayish. To achieve the blue color, the carefully ground stones had to be mixed with bitumen, mastic, turpentine, and linseed oil or wax. This mixture was heated to make a thick paste. In order to insulate all the lapis lazuli, several successful mixings were required, each of which gradually separated the blue color from the grayish impurities. The result of final extraction was only a pale precipitate, which was called ultramarine ash. The oldest examples of use of lapis lazuli as a pigment were found on several 5th century wall paintings in Chinese Turkmenistan and on some images in a cave temple in Bamiyan dating from the 7th century. The earliest known case in the Europe is in the church of San Saba in Rome, first half of 8th century, where ultramarine mixed with Egyptian azure was found. At that time, Egypt azure was the main blue color of the ancient world, but ultramarine soon replaced it. The high price of the pigments was explained not only by how far it had to travel after extractions. It was also influenced by how ultramarine was used, if at all. The Venetians were the first link in the chain of European ultramarine supplies and were able to buy it cheaper than others, so they used it rather wastefully. Northern European artists were more economical. Albert de Dürer, the leading engraver and painter of German Renaissance, used ultramarine from time to time and completely butterly about its price every time. Look, most of other blue pigments have greenish halftones, while ultramarine is a true blue, sometimes approaching violet. In addition, ultramarine is incredibly durable. The rise of this color in the West coincides with the growing Renaissance fascination with the cult of the Virgin Mary. From 1400 onwards, artists increasingly depicted the Madonna dresses in an ultramarine blue cloak of dress as the vivid symbol of their reverence for her divinity. In 1824, the French Society for the Promotion of National Industry promised 6,000 francs to anyone who could produce affordable synthetic ultramarine. 4 years later, the prize was awarded to French chemist Jean Goumet, and the formula has since been called French ultramarine. To synthesize ultramarine, once mixed porcelain clay, soda, charcoal, quartz, and sulfur and heat the entire mixture. The result, transparent green substance, is crushed, washed, and heated again to produce a deep blue powder. French ultramarine was immeasurably cheaper. The French post-war artist Yves Klein, in 1916, he patented the international Klein blue and used it to create his trademark, a series of glossy textured paintings known as the ISS series for their color. These were seemingly monochromatic paintings which Klein later called his pure idea. The artist was disappointed by the dullness of the paint made from these pigments. For a year, he worked with a chemist to create a special resonance substance. When it was mixed with synthetic ultramarine to make ISS, the pigment came closer to the original in purity and luminosity. Such is the glorious history of beautiful color that we used quite often in our watercolor artwork. By the way, monochrome blocks help me to understand tones well and to know how much paint and water I need in other work when using these colors. I hope you have found me helpful and interesting. Thank you for your time in this video. I would love it if you would share in the comments how you use ultramarine most often. See you again in the next video and good luck on your creativity journey.